end times. Are we there? We have Christina Del Rey. We also have Danny Johnson. Our civilization has never seen what is going on, and the things that are occurring from the social justice movements, to the pandemic, to the fires and the floods. These are unique to our times now. We do not have history of this. So I think we do need to be open-minded. I believe we reached a tipping point recently. And what happened with that tipping point is that we changed as a people from trying to convince those that were deliberately feeding dark, toxic energies in the world, destroying the environment, destroying each other. We reached a point where we could no longer recruit those people. And everything shifted and turned so that all of the attention at that point became on the actual light workers, those people that have decided that they want to stay connected to high vibration energy and do what is best for the greater good. And the power started to shift into their hands. One reference I'm always hearing is that the meek shall inherit the earth. I feel that there was a shift in power there. No, we're not seeing it just yet, but it's coming and you can feel it. Now, what happened to the people that were feeding the dark energy? Well, we're kind of done working with that. Let that go. Let them go. That's what they chose repeatedly. And now the focus needs to be 100% on the light work itself. The people who have been feeding the dark energy, I see them very literally going mentally ill. When a dark energy takes over a human being, it isn't natural. We're supposed to stay connected to the light. So when we choose to feed the dark energy, it's more like a paranormal process. It creeps in as an attachment, and we can expect, and we are seeing an increase in possessions. So they will lose self-control. They will lose their mental health. We have to let that go and set proper boundaries and take care of ourselves. Keep feeding the light and move forward. Now, I think that we have more light workers coming into contract here. That light workers who never planned on doing light work are stepping up within the last year or so. And one of the most dramatic things I'm seeing with the light workers being called into duty, and kind of everybody else even in between, are the prophetic dreams. The dreams about the end of the world, the dreams about the apocalyptic scenes and the end times. With the Hopi Prophecy, the mental deterioration that would come with this tipping point, that it would be connected not to a sickness in the body, it is actually due to a sickness in the spirit.
Many will appear to have lost their souls in these final days. So intense will the nature of the changes be that those who are weak in spiritual awareness will go insane, for we are nothing without spirit.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, what does that mean that I knew that and I heard that without ever having read it? What does it mean that it kicked in about a month ago and I knew that was the tipping point? What does it mean that everyone else is hearing the same thing? We're all on the same frequency. We're all knowing this innately. What we're looking at, what I was told would be happening, is a certain pattern of groups of people and activity that we can use like a time clock for change. Spirit showed me that we would be looking at African Americans and the gay community or trans community. Well, as we have seen here within the last month or so, we have literally reached a point in time where these two have been brought together. We have to go through this entire process before we can move on to the next part, which will then be, and the final stage is going to be the women and the natives.
And when astrologers look at the cycles, so everything is a cycle. And so when we look at this year, we see so many planetary alignments that are rare. And they're so rare that two of them, well, the first one we had in January, and that happened 500 years ago. And the second one that we're going to have in December happened 600 years ago. But something you had said too about the meek will inherit the earth, and the Jupiter Pluto and the Saturn Pluto that we see, that's really all about wealth changing hands, and power, and revolution is coming. And what's happening is that we have to take the structures we have built, because Saturn is what we build. Okay, so what have we built? 500 years ago was the Protestant Reformation. Okay, that's the last time we had this combination and this sign. In 1518, King Charles I of Spain, he signed a charter with the Portuguese traders and said, send those slaves to the Americas. So once he did that, once he put the pen to the paper, 2.5 million African slaves were sent to the Americas. So, Saturn, Pluto, both of those are karmic planets. So we have to reap the karma we have sown. So, do we have the potential of war? Do we have the potential of, yeah, we do. We do have the potential, but if people choose the light, and are aware of the light, we have a much better chance of making it.
But the book of Revelations, it was so eye-opening, and I'm really grateful for the chance to have reread it, because in terms of numerology, the number 7 and the number 24 directly connect with this call to get right. Angel of the Church of Smyrna, Jesus saying, I know your afflictions, and I know that you are living in poverty, yet you are rich. And some of you have even been put in prison, and put in prison for 10 days, but you will wear the victor's crown. And this is essentially folks who have been in prison for fighting against injustice, political prisoners who for decades have been sitting in jails, folks who are protesting, who are thrown in jail simply for the sake of, because they are raising their voices. The angel of the Church of Pergamon, this is where using your privilege for equality and equity. Jesus is saying, I see where you live. I know that there is not so great stuff around you, but you are using what you have for the betterment of other people. And Jesus recognizes that. Number 24, the number 24 represents family, balance, duality, soul's mission, life contract, security. There were 24 elders that bow before God. And those elders are our ancestors. I feel in my soul. These are the ancestors who are coming to help us along our life contract when we answer the call. And that's why they feel so close to us. Like they're hovering over us in a way that I've never felt before. Spiritual warriors, that is something that is, I feel in the book of Revelations was delved into as well. 144,000 sealed anointed warriors. And essentially, these are the folks who I see rising up in protest. When we see folks in the thousands throughout the country rising up, that is what this is referring to, like breaking systems of oppression. God seeing the most vulnerable among us. There's a pregnant woman who's clothed in the sun with the moon under her feet, and God gave her wings to protect her. And that is literally like those without power, and the ones who you were describing will, like the head becoming the tail and the tail becoming the head. This dragon that was described in the book of Revelations, I think is, when rereading it, the dragon passed his power or their power down to a beast, down to another beast. What that represents is slavery as the dragon being the power being passed down to Jim Crow laws, and that power being passed down to the second beast, which is modern day mass incarceration, where slavery is just in another form.